Buyer's remorse.
Hello and welcome to Buyer's Remorse. I'm Darren.
I'm Justin.
And on Buyer's Remorse, we subject each other to games that are in our libraries unplayed and make each other play them for 60 minutes and then see if they're an awesome purchase or if they're a complete waste of time. So, I don't know which ones you've got to do today or which one you got to do today. I mean, what's it called?
The one we're going to talk about now is 15 Days.
Oh, I don't remember this. I don't know why I chose this. Hopefully it was absolute trash.
Just to be aware, I don't know if we've mentioned this before, but we've not made it hidden the fact that we bulk play and record these to get ahead just in case we have any bad times. And this time we did a huge, it was like 7 or 8 that we just shot at each other. So yeah, you won't remember probably most of them that you gave to me. And I should probably have snuck some good ones in there instead. 15 Days is developed by House of Tales, published by Handy Games, which you might remember Handy Games from such things as Safecracker and Neighbors from Hell.
Oh, okay. So right up your alley then, maybe.
It was released in June of 2010. It has mostly negative reviews, with 115 reviews, which is probably why you picked it. It is $10 at base, but I think it often goes for 80% off. I know even when I was playing this and looking up the information for it, it was at 80% off, so $2 is much more common.
Right.
I think that's when people buy it, would probably be when it's $2. The description on the Steam page says, a 3-man activist group has set out to make the world a better place by stealing famous pieces of art in the world's most renowned museums, selling them to private collectors to get money, and donating it to charity.
So, Robin Hood? With art theft, Robin Hood?
Yeah, sort of.
Okay. Sounds interesting. Why the negative reviews?
Well, I've got some theories. When you start off, there is an animated cutscene, I would say a montage of cutscenes of Mission Impossible style heists that are happening. They are referenced when you finally do get into the game, but the cutscenes is from 2010 and also probably not the most, it's not a AAA game. Right. So it didn't have the most money behind it, would be my guess. But once you finish that, you have to sit through an in-game style cutscene where the quality of animation has dropped considerably, and the characters also there's something that's just not quite right. It's very uncanny valley. The eyes just stare dead ahead, and they just have a head that is sitting there, and the mouth moves.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I know what you mean. I can picture it now.
There's a character called Mike who is inappropriately flirting with our character. There's another character called Bernie who asks if our character has a headache. She goes up to the kitchen for cold tea. Well, she goes up there, she's like, oh, the tea's probably cold too. There's this weird thing of her both seeming to really like her flatmates and also really annoyed by her flatmates constantly.
Okay.
It's almost as though they want to have these jokes about the flatmates, but they also want you to like the characters. Okay. And they don't know how to play it in between. Because you either seem to be saying something that's really, getting some tea, but it's probably cold. They probably let it go cold or something. Yeah. And then also, there's a birthday cake on the table downstairs that she'll say, oh, my flatmates are so sweet. And like, well, establish who these characters are and how you feel about them, because I feel like you don't know how you feel about them either. It's a point-and-click game. Okay. Let me get that out of the way. It is a point-and-click game, but it is, let's say, 3D, because you can walk around the room.
I know what you mean, yeah.
So in the flat, it's a big loft is what it is, or kind of an empty warehouse. So you can go up the stairs, and then you have the area, the screen that is at the top of the stairs. To get to your room, you go to the right, and then that's another screen. Okay. Right, so you're going from screen to screen to screen. Mm. After about 4 minutes of all this business with the cutscenes and everything, I finally get to play, so I'm in control, but there are no instructions. There's an icon at the bottom where you can click for a map, so that's going to be important in the future, but you don't know it yet. You can read newspaper clippings that talk about the heist that we saw in the cutscene at the opening. These are what your flatmates did, and I guess they did it for your birthday. They're grabbing some of these things for your birthday.
All right.
So the tower, the Parliament Tower, where Big Ben is inside, I think that one of the guys stole numbers off of the clock or something.
Okay.
There's a lot of this. It's like, well, have you been to London? Because I'm not sure. There's a much better instance of this, though, later. Our character's name is Catherine. We know this because of a really awkward birthday call from her estranged father. And then we start moving around to try and figure out what I'm supposed to be doing, because I have no idea. As I started playing, I noticed that some of the game functions were just really odd, and I can't really describe it, but it's like they were trying to do something more with point and click, but it's still point and click.
Okay, like, can you explain it? Like, what do you mean? Like, so is this like an inventory, broken sword, kind of pick up item, use item on other thing?
Yes.
Right, okay, so what were they trying to do that was different then?
I don't know, because I haven't played Broken Sword, so I don't know specifically. I guess I'm just much more used to 2D style point and click. And this one just, I don't know how to explain it, but it just felt like they were trying to do something more. You know how in Double Fine point and click, there's usually lots of extra stuff you can click on that's interesting. You'll get bits more story.
Bits of story and stuff, yeah.
It's like they were trying to do that, but just ineffectively. You also find that there are sometimes we go to Bernie, his room, and you can sit down, you have a chat with him. In fact, I think you have to progress the story forward. But then you could just wander around his room as he's sitting there, and your character is saying stuff like, oh, Bernie is really proud of this thing. Oh, Bernie really likes this. He's right there. It doesn't make any sense to have this kind of story exposition about the character who's right there.
That happens so much in, I think it was in one of the Deus Ex games, like one of the new ones, like Mankind Divided, where you just hack your way into someone's apartment, they're sitting there watching television, you're going through all their stuff, stealing all their money, and they're just like, oh, it's a nice night tonight. Just, blah, blah, blah. Don't mind me, I'm just taking all your credits. Bye.
I will say that the save function is probably the most odd, though.
Okay.
So when you move your cursor to the left side of the screen, there is a disk icon. One has a green arrow pointing one way, and I think the other one is a blue arrow pointing the opposite direction. They've not bothered to put text on it, so you have to kind of guess which one means...
Save and load?
Yes. And then when you save it, it's just... I felt unsure as to whether or not I'd actually saved the game or not.
There's no, like, save completed thing that comes up or anything like that?
I didn't see anything. And on top of that, there's the old-style PC name your save. I can't remember now if I could actually type it in. I think I just chose the chapter title, which came up as a default, because I was figuring I was probably only going to play for an hour anyway. But even still, like I said, I wasn't quite sure if I had saved or not. I do know, because of later, that I must have. I don't think there's an autosave function.
Well, that doesn't help. And especially in a point-and-click game.
So I suspect that I did have to save it, but I'm not sure. I can't say that for sure.
Is the arrow pointing up and down, or is it left and right?
Left and right.
Oh, God, that's even... I was going to say, if it was up and down, at least maybe upload, download, that would make sense. Like, down would be save, up would be load.
It's like an arrow going away. So I'm pretty sure that the one going away is load, and the one going in is save.
Okay.
Because of the disk icon. It's not just a left or right arrow. There is a disk icon. Like, once you know what it's doing, then you're okay. But the first time you look at it, you go, is this the best way to do it? Could you not just put text there?
It's only 4 letters.
Yeah. It seems like text would have been so much easier than an image.
Yeah.
I will say this. They're trying really hard with the rooms to try and create who these characters are. Bernie's room is full of chess, awards, and diplomas. He's the intelligent, he's the planner, is from what I'm assuming.
Man with the plan, yeah.
Mike is the gamer hacker. So you go into his room and he's got 3 monitors and a bunch of USB sticks and like an arcade game. And of course, leftover pizza from 2 weeks ago or something like that. You go into our room, Catherine's room. There's half-finished paintings, ballet pictures from when she was a child, because I guess she used to be a ballerina, and also a climbing wall, which I guess
She's the thief then. She's the cat thief.
Well, but the opening scene makes it appear like Mike can do that as well, even though he's a bit bigger. They keep referencing the fact that he's a bit bigger and he's lost weight to try and impress her, I think.
Okay. I'm also realizing that cat thief sounds like someone that steals cats. I should have said cat burglar.
Well, but cat burglar also sounds like somebody who steals cats. As for the game, once we finally get into it...
Yeah, what do you do? Yeah,
there's a mission we're going to get, but we need to go and meet the guy. It's some guy from Africa who's going to give us the deal. But here's the thing. The setup that they've made for the meeting, is so absolutely ludicrous that I just can't let it go. This is 2010, and we are going to go to what Bernie, I believe, at one point refers to as the Ferris wheel, which anyone...
In London, oh yeah, the famous Ferris wheel.
Yes. Yeah. Does anybody ever call it the Ferris wheel?
No. Not even tourists on their first trip.
Is the Millennium Eye, I think now it's did they change it to London Eye, or is it still Millennium?
Yeah, it was the Millennium Eye when it first was done, but everyone just calls it the London Eye now. But
I'm sure by 2010 it was probably the London Eye, but I don't think anybody just calls it the Ferris wheel.
I don't even think Jay called it the Ferris wheel when he was there, with Kevin Smith. Yeah, that story he's telling when he went to the London Eye. He had a knife on him.
Oh, I didn't hear
Oh, no? Yeah, okay. Look that up.
Okay. So that's a bit weird already.
Yeah.
And then you get... It's just... Okay, so the idea is they want to have a secret meeting, not the most secret of places. They set it up so that Mike, the hacker guy, has what he refers to as a remote control that you're supposed to go get. He's like, I've got a surprise for you. Go to my room and get it. So, why didn't you just bring it downstairs with you?
It's much of a surprise if I have to go and get it.
That's what I thought.
It got a surprise if you just said, it's in my room, go and get it.
Yeah. No way. So you have to go up and you have to find it. And this is where you get to wander around his room for the first time and see the pizza. But you also see... amongst his USB sticks, he's got one that's 20 gigabytes. And she says, oh, he always has to go so over the top. I'm like, I don't think that's that over the top. Even in 2010, didn't seem that over the top. Especially not for somebody who's a super hacker guy and is probably downloading all kinds of stuff.
I don't think USB sticks even come in that, what's the word I'm looking for? Not denomination, but it's like 4, 8, 12, 24, 32, 64. I don't even think a 21 exists.
I'm curious if ever there was one. It does feel odd, right? It just feels like they put so much effort into making this game, but didn't research the most simple of things or think about the most simple of things.
Right about what you know, guys.
So we get down to the main room where everybody has a meeting, and we're talking about this, what he refers to as remote control, but when our character sees it, she says it looks like a video game console, which is much more what it looks like. It does not look like a remote control at all. If you sent me after a remote control, I would not have come back with this thing. You basically find out that the plan is for us to go on the London Eye to get to the top, and he will stop the London Eye using this control until the meeting is finished. Wait till we get there. You're giving me a funny look. Wait till we get there.
I mean, I'm thinking, what's the point of doing that? Because it takes forever to go around anyway.
That was my thought as well. And it's not going to be private. You can fit like 3 motor cars inside one of these pods. Like, they're huge. Yeah. You're going to put, I don't know, is it 20 people maybe at a time in there?
Yeah.
It's so ridiculous. Just go to a bar and sit in a booth.
Yeah.
Or have him come here or rent a room somewhere.
Get in your car and go for a drive together.
So we get in a van, we go there. Mike drives right up. I mean, he doesn't drive because we're not going to see that animation. But where the van is, where we get out, is right in front of the eye, as though that's possible.
He's a VIP then, yeah.
Right in front of the eye is also, I mean, in the way of getting in is this chippy truck. Mm-hmm. It's like fish and chips, but it's not in a place where I think it would actually be. And we don't have to buy a ticket. There's 0 people to get on. So why do we have to bother with this whole subterfuge of, I'm going to stop it when it gets to the top? And that's made only worse by the fact that what you have, what this remote control is, you become Mike to do this mini puzzle, is a matching the frequency. But I don't know what they were thinking. It took me forever to do this. It was all just guesswork. You have 2 different wavelengths you have to mess with, and they both deal with pitch and frequency.
Okay.
And you have to make this weird shape that matches the line at the top, but you're just guessing. It's not a puzzle, really.
Like, we did that same puzzle for We Were Here Together, didn't we?
And that's much better.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, that's in my mind. Is that what they were shooting for? Something like that?
That's what they were trying for, I think.
Right.
But boy, did it not feel the same at all. This felt so awkward. It just didn't make any sense when I started off. You've got these hand-drawn, what looks like hand-drawn notes above it. The one is saying, this one is going to make pointy ones. This one is going to make round ones. But you're trying to make a weird W-ish shape that goes up at an angle. It's like, that's not
it's not even like a sine wave. It's not like something that repeats. It's
no,
like some kind of
it's some sort of mutated version in between.
Right.
It's like, what am I doing? This makes no sense at all. I'm just angry at this because I don't know how long it took, and it took just way too long. And I thought I just didn't understand it. There's something that's wrong. But no, once I finally got it, I went, oh yeah, I got it. Great. Because I guessed my way through. There's nothing here to teach me how to do it. Why am I Mike suddenly? That makes no sense. Then we have to switch to Catherine so we can have the meeting at the top. Mm-hmm. Which, by the way, you look behind the characters. There's nothing recognizable behind them. The whole point is the eye is where the heart of the tourist area would be.
Yeah.
All the buildings you want to see. You can look down on Parliament. You can look over there and you can see the Tower of London. It just looks so generic.
Yeah.
Behind it. So why did you even bother? If you wanted to put it on the eye because you wanted to show off, that's what you do. Don't do this. What is this? This is such a waste of my time.
Just all blurry backgrounds.
But we didn't even start this mission we didn't leave for this until 30 minutes. Wow. So 30 minutes wandering around the loft.
Right.
Looking at people's desks and grabbing stuff from their room that they could have brought down themselves. Mm-hmm. The person that we're talking to is going to give us the job. They want some portrait of Winston Churchill. They're willing to pay $5 million for it, which everybody thinks, I mean, we reference it multiple times. Everybody going, well, that seems a bit much for that painting. It's not worth that. Why would somebody want that? I don't know. And it's also in the London Modern Museum? Of all the museums I've been, I don't think I've ever been to a London Modern. There's the Tate Modern.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what they were thinking of. Maybe they couldn't actually say that one. Mm. Maybe that's also why they refer to it as the Ferris wheel. Maybe they're afraid of getting in trouble.
Yeah.
Though anybody who looks at it knows what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
There's basically a week to do this, though I'm assuming that the total thing is going to be 15 days since that's the name of the game.
Unless there's something else. Unless this is just the warm-up theft. Maybe there's something else to steal.
Maybe. So maybe there's 2 thefts. One lasts 7 days and one lasts 8 days. We're going to have to end up going back, talk to Bernie about what happened, and then we end up having to go see Old Man McBride, who's going to do the forgery for us. And he's not doing well. He's not feeling well. I guess we're supposed to care about him, but I just met him.
Oh, dear. Sorry, don't feel well.
Yeah. I think just before that, we have to go to Mike's room. We have to now find the USB that I had already found.
Well, the whole 20 gigabytes.
Yeah. So we have to talk to him. And then he says, oh, can you find me that USB memory stick? Just reach over. It's on your left. Everything is on your left. It's taking you more time to tell me to do something than to just reach over and grab it. So you have to zoom in on the table to find it, grab it, get back out of the table. You can't just see it from the further out view. You have to zoom in on the table. It's what I mean. They've just made some odd choices that just feel really clunky in this game. So you give that to him so he can download a picture because, I'm sure this picture is going to be super quality. He needs that 20 gigabytes.
Yep.
And then, you're going to go to McBride. He's not doing well. You're going to feel sad. But I want to talk about the other Mike puzzle that we have to do, which is so ridiculous. We have to go in to Mike's computer for this picture for McBride.
Okay.
And there's a search engine. Now, I'm not sure if the search engine is important. They've created their own search engine. And when you go in, you can search terms and it will bring them up.
Okay.
There are a lot of entries. And they've made 5-paragraph entries about most of them. Sometimes you'll see I think they've repeated themselves or what they say doesn't really, it looks like they just rushed and wrote something. But they basically created a search engine in this game to go through for information. I would leave and nothing would happen, so I'd go back in. I don't know what I did to trigger it. But finally I did when I left the computer. He said, oh, there's the picture for you. I don't know what I did. I don't know if anything I did made any difference. But it bothers me so much that they put so much effort into the search engine on Mike's computer than they did in so many other aspects of the game that would have made it better.
This sounds just weird.
It's weird.
Like a fully searchable engine? Like a fully searchable Google that you can type?
Sort of. I mean, you get really weird results. But you type in a few words and then you get 5 or 6 results.
Wow.
And I've got to tell you, this game is so boring. It is so slow. That's why I brought up the fact that it was 30 minutes before you even leave the loft. You click on things, they're not really interesting. The animation is not really good. It's not terrible, but it's not good. It's not interesting. Your characters look at you with dead eyes. I'm an hour in. I haven't really done anything yet. And the 2 puzzles they've given me were awful.
Score. So why did you get this game?
I don't remember. I know I didn't specifically get this game.
Bundled, maybe?
My guess would be it was bundled somewhere.
Do I own it?
I don't think so.
No. Okay.
Perhaps it was a freebie at one point.
Right.
That I could see. But there's no way that I definitely didn't pay the $10 for it. And I don't even think $2 with mixed reviews that I would have leapt into it.
Yeah.
So it must have been bundled with some other things. I don't remember how I got it, and I couldn't find it, so mystery.
So how did your hour end then? Was that the final part of your hour? Just a few searches on an engine, and then...
No, okay, so I maybe made that a bit confusing. So you go to Mike's room, you have to get the picture because you're taking that to McBride because he's going to forge the painting. That whole bit about him being sick, I wanted to end on like the most annoying thing, which is that computer thing. But basically, you're going to get in there. McBride is speaking, but the music, the volume is super loud. And so he's really hard to hear. Yeah, he's sick. You use the USB in the projector. This is another thing where it's just like, he talks about the projector being so old and he needs to replace it. It's like, but it can handle a 20 gigabyte USB. It can't be that old.
And if it's old and crappy, then why are you using this to base your forgery on?
Yeah, I have no idea. Basically, we go back, we tell Bernie, he's not looking well, and that's about it.
So you just like ticking down that clock? It's like, okay, it's 59 minutes and 59 seconds, and I'm done.
Pretty much. I think I finished out this scene, which may have gone just a little bit over, but I was so bored. I don't want to play this again. So I think that the fact that it's a bit boring, the things that they could have made interesting with it being in London, they halfway do in a way that is not entertaining at all. it feels like somebody who didn't read the book trying to give a book report.
Right.
They know what it looks like, but they have no idea how anything around it works. Like needing to buy a ticket and having people standing around who might be running it or security or anything.
Just get on.
There's no one. And the things that they put in, a truck for snacks, fish and chips. Oh, well, at least you could order it or get some dialogue with the guy running it. Just nothing.
Right. Just
you walk up
window
to
dressing for everything.
You walk up to it and you can click on it and your character will say, I'm not hungry right now. But that's not interesting. Like everything you've done is just not interesting. Maybe it gets better once you get into the heist. But if it's going to be a bunch of mini games like the ones I've seen already, where I don't know what I'm doing and I'm not exactly sure what the result is I'm supposed to get, I'm not interested.
It's a shame because Safecracker was alright and Neighbours from Hell you liked maybe more than I did, but they've got a handle on how point and click works, so what happened?
Well, don't confuse it. That's the publisher, not the developer.
It's not the same developer?
Yes.
Okay. So they gave someone else a chance and they probably botched it by the sounds of it. Yeah. So what tags are you going to give this one then?
Point and click, boring, and London-ish.
Yeah, Ferris wheel. You know I like these kind of games. Well, point and click, maybe more than you do. Would you say that I give this a shot?
I would only say to give it a shot if you already have it. I wouldn't say to buy it.
Yeah.
If you do not own it, then no. My guess is you'll probably end up with it at some point because it'll be bundled with something.
Yeah, or it'll be free.
But as it is, with you not owning it, no, I would not recommend it to you. And at this point, I wouldn't recommend it to anyone unless they need to play every point and click game that ever existed. Otherwise, yeah, it's just, the first hour anyway is very boring and frustrating. I don't plan to play it anymore.
So, buyer's confirmation then, yeah?
I would call this a buyer's remorse.
Bing.
Remorse.
What game did you play for today?
Muddy Heights 2.
First off, I guess the first question would be, did you play Muddy Heights 1? I know why I picked this one. It took me a second to remember, but I completely remember why I picked this one for you. It's almost reminiscent of an early one I had you play, which was Dump in the Dark, because this one is all poop related. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's not as dark. The premise is pretty simple. You are a guy perched up on a high place, and you have a nice happy look on your face, and then you decide it's time to...
So who buys this?
You do.
As the character, not the poop.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the guy's up there in his green t-shirt, and he looks all happy, and then you click on the item. So basically each item gives you a different power-up. So the burger will give you, like, more poops.
All this and more in the next episode of Buyer's Remorse.